You made it to level 2, deeper questions leading to deeper answers. I'm Tomas Garza, and I'm here to help you decide to transform. I'll be setting the pace for the process to support your unfolding. Learn and commit to a practice that brings simplicity and then awareness of what is ready to be released. Join me now and allow the experience of a deeper sense of love. Hello and welcome to Decide to Transform. I'm your host, Tomas Garza, and joining me as my very special guest today from Toronto is Lavender Morantz. Now, Lavender is an international speaker, leadership expert specializing in teaching women how to create the life of their dreams with a proven strategic process. Her vision is to empower women globally to take inspired action and create the life of their dreams. Now, Lavender is very excited to be here today. She's got a tremendous story and a lot of enthusiasm for her work. So wherever you are joining us from, welcome, and help me welcome Lavender. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
It's very fun to have you, and I'm excited to talk about a couple of things related to your work with empowerment and leadership. Because you have an event coming up on April 7th. So we'll talk about that throughout the course of the show today. But let's start off with that. You've got a masterclass coming up about creating your own economy, which brings up a lot of questions from me, starting with, what is that all about?
Good question. So it's about basically giving, I do work primarily with women, but this can apply to men too. Giving women, people, the opportunity to create something that's bigger and longer lasting than just, say, a job or a career, let's say. And it allows them to create a platform to create more freedom, fluidity, flexibility in their life, more time freedom. And it's actually a very simple system, but it's compiled of a lifetime of work and learning on my end. And, it's kind of my pay it forward.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, even a simple system. I mean, there's always a body of work underneath that, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
yes, but let's talk about that body of work. How long have you been working with this simple system?
I feel like it's technically a lifetime, but for, to really be like in it and crafting it, it's just over 11 years now. And the process started with my work was, I was in fashion and corporate originally,
Okay.
and it was just a really soul crushing experience for me. I felt like it was a lot of get and not a lot of give back. And I transitioned out of that with no real backup plan. And I started my first business because of that, which was interior design and home building. And even with that, I still felt like the hamster in the wheel, where it was like, you got to keep doing, keep moving, burnout. I'm feeling fried 24/7. Like, I'm a single mom with 2 kids. Like, you can't keep up. You can't keep up that pace forever. So it was that kind of pushed me into looking for different avenues and options and opportunities to be able to create something with a little bit more leverage that wasn't so dependent on my time, so that I didn't feel so burnt out all the time.
Yeah. Well, and people that are entrepreneurs talk a lot about, a lot of them have a corporate background or a traditional business background, and
Yeah.
they talk about selling their time. So, was there one instance in particular that stands out to you where you really had a moment of, I got to switch gears here?
There are lots of them.
All right.
But I think the aha was very early on. One of my mentors started talking about residual income. And I was like, well, I don't know what that is, but I got to figure out how to get me some of that. This is a very, very long time ago. But,
Mhm.
and she was like, trading dollars for hours. And it's like, it's not just like an hourly rate, like even a salary is trading dollars for hours. You're like, this is what my year is worth. And like, maybe I get 2 weeks of vacation. So the whole concept that kind of changed the way I looked at things was like residual income. It was creating some leverage so that your money is working for you and not the other way around.
Yeah, and it's a concept that I think a lot of people have heard of, but they're not super familiar with it unless they're in a residual money making situation. So
Right. And I'm not even like, I'm not a detailed person. I'm not a numbers person. So it's like, you talk numbers to me, my eyes glaze over. So I really had to like, to learn it like in its complexity to be able to simplify it so I could teach it to other people.
mhm. And you've been teaching it then how long?
Yeah. Like,
Oh,
it'll be 11 years in
11
May.
years. Yeah. Well, so this is it's interesting because there's always a transformational story. There's always a foundation underneath every entrepreneur. So if you're listening and you're not an entrepreneur, well, we're different.
Yes, we are.
We're different because you have people actually risking everything to have things like time freedom, financial freedom, the freedom to not be beholden to a conventional work situation. So, Lavender, what would you say your biggest motivating factor for switching from a corporate environment to your current environment would be?
There were a few things. So one is I had cancer at a really young age. I had cancer at 21.
Okay.
And that was, I would say that was the biggest kind of eye opener and push for me to just start asking the questions um, in different scenarios. Work was one of them. Was, is this what I really want? Is this what's gonna like make me thrive? Is this what's best for not just like the appearance of the situation, but like for my soul? You know,
Okay.
because when you break down the word disease, whether it's cancer or something else like degenerative, it's disease, it's stress in the body, right?
Mhm.
And so if you're in a situation where you're spending, let's say, 80 or 90% of your time, which a lot of people do with their work life, and in Canada, Toronto, Ontario, even more so because everybody's now working from home, so you're expected to be reachable 24/7. People are getting emails in the middle of the night, you know.
Yeah.
um if it's not something that like lights you up, time to change gears. And maybe it's a transition. Maybe it's not what I did where I was like, bye, and I'm gonna go figure it out. But you gotta have like layers to support you in what you really want to do, I think. So cancer was definitely one of the things. The other thing was I just, in addition to not aligning or feeling aligned with corporate, I think that I also wasn't aligned necessarily with having a boss. So now I'm the boss, and I get to decide if I take vacation or get to go pick up my kids early from school or play hooky one day. It's just really being in the driver's seat of your reality, both the day to day and what you're planning for the future, for the legacy that you're going to leave behind, right?
Yeah, I love the phrase, the driver's seat of your reality. And yeah, and if you're an entrepreneur out there, you likely can relate to what Lavender just said. I can relate to that. Yes, bad employee.
Awful.
Yeah.
I have a pack of matches in my desk and I keep them there and don't use them because it literally says fire me on the front. And I'm like, I laugh at it all the time.
Beautiful. Okay, I love that. That's a great image. Fire me.
Fire me.
Fire me. Or I quit.
Yeah. If
I'm
I could
done.
have that like stamped on my forehead, totally. That's my tagline.
Yeah. This is fun. I mean, the conversation always takes an unexpected direction on here, which I really love and appreciate. So you're getting a glimpse, listeners, into the life of an entrepreneur, our crazy mindset. If you've ever wondered what it's like, and you still want to do it at the end of this broadcast, then that's perfect. We recommend it. All right.
Right. Highly recommend. Do you know what's interesting though, Tomas, is that I've never talked to an entrepreneur that's taken that leap and ever wanted to go back. They've none of them, not one person. So there's got to be something good about it, right?
Yeah, yeah, there really is. There's a lot that's good about it. So if you're ever curious, then I'm happy you're listening to this podcast because, well, we highly recommend it.
Totally.
Yeah, we do. So, Lavender, you came down with a cancer diagnosis at age 21. So, if you'd like to tell us some more about that. I mean, are you cancer free now or?
Yeah, yeah, I have been ever since.
Okay, great, good.
I was lucky to have caught it early, and it was totally just intuition and knowing myself well, because I had three different doctors basically kind of brush it off saying it's nothing. And it was my insisting to like just take one
Yeah,
more step just to make
yeah.
sure that actually caught it. So I'm so grateful. And I do feel like it was a new lease on life. And that's why I used that opportunity to really look at, like, how do I want to live? How do I want to impact the world? What kind of a human do I want to be? What do I want to do? What's my work going to be in the world? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was definitely not just like a physical transformation, but a mental overhaul with how I looked at everything.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, and so let's talk a little bit about the intuition here,
sure.
because
My favorite topic.
yeah, let's delve into that. So how does that show up for you? Because I know it's different for everybody.
Yeah, it is. I feel like the more that you like look for and pay attention to and listen to your intuition or inner voice, the more it'll show up for you. So
Mhm.
for me, my body's always been kind of like a nudge
Uh-huh.
when something's off. And it is usually my skin, and it was skin cancer. So that
Oh,
was
okay.
kind of the frying pan over the head. But if you learn to tune in and listen closer, you'll notice that there's kind of other nudges that happen before the frying pan over the head kind of moment. Um, so I want to say I joke about it, but in all sincerity, I'm actually really grateful for having had the whole cancer experience, because it helped me work backwards to make sure I'm listening like right away to the intuition where it doesn't build to that dramatic point again. And tuning in can look like something formal, like sitting down to do a meditation, be it guided or otherwise. It could be, some people wake up in the middle of the night between like 3 and 5 a.m. and like get these like crazy downloads. Like I've got a really good friend, and she's like, you do that too? Oh my God, that's so cool. She calls herself like prophetic because she gets these crazy downloads in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Some people, it's just a gut feeling.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people, it's literally a voice in their head. It
Mhm.
can be anything. So you got to figure out what it is for you, and then follow that nudge or voice or
Mhm.
feeling.
Yeah, yeah, it's wonderful that you did follow it. 'Cause this apparently enabled you to catch this cancer very early and deal with it. Now, did you encounter any resistance from the doctors or from the medical community? I mean,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, okay,
Yeah, totally.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
like two different dermatologists, three actually, were like,
oh,
you're crazy, like
mm,
there's nothing wrong with you. It doesn't meet our ABCD criteria for melanoma, and we don't want to just give you a scar for nothing. I'm like, okay. First of all, I'll take a scar. And second of all, I just had this nagging intuition, gut feeling. And
yeah,
so with the third doctor, I insisted. I was like, listen, I don't care if I have a scar, just do the
mhm,
biopsy. I am the patient, do it. Like, come on.
mhm.
And they did. And I literally got the call while at work with the job I hated
No,
saying, we've got surgery prep for you, drop what you're doing. And I was like, I'm the only one here. Like, I can't leave. They're like, no, no, no. Like, you're coming in right now. So with melanoma, it's one of the quickest killers because it's in your blood so quickly, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, well, I'll take the scar. Okay, this is
Right? Give me
yeah.
another scar. I don't care as long as I'm still
Right,
here.
right. We all have scars, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Well, so this is good. So you mentioned a number of different ways that different people get intuitive hits. Now, now that you've had this experience and it's possibly quite literally saved your life, right? How do you use this now when you work with people? Because now you're in the leadership field. Now you're in a real leadership position for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that leadership starts with being a leader in your own life. Are
Mhm.
you willing to lead yourself?
Okay.
and lead your story and lead your experiences. It integrates there first before you can lead another person. And so I think that, oh, like, cancer is just one of the stories, but I've used the experiences in my life to really build a leadership muscle in myself first, and then that translates to being able to lead others. And I'm grateful for the people that have put their trust in me to be able to help them kind of craft that skill for themselves too.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, it really is an internal shift, like an inside job, so to speak, to be a leader. Now, did you find that this was difficult for you at first? Was it a difficult
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So, like,
transition?
our subconscious wants to keep us safe, and to keep us safe, it wants us to stay the same. And you're never going to be a leader by staying the same, unfortunately. It's not. It doesn't come from sitting on the couch eating bonbons.
Uh, that's too
So
bad.
yeah, right? Think of it. Um, it definitely comes from being comfortable with being uncomfortable, first of all. And it comes with, man, you have to want it so bad that it doesn't matter how much it hurts in the process, because growth hurts. Growth is going to challenge you from every angle. Um, and yeah, so I think that it's building a muscle, and just knowing that it's going to get hard before it gets easier. And then once you build that muscle, like, yes, things are difficult, but you've grown into the person that can handle that difficulty now.
Yeah, yeah. So, would it speak to your experience to say that you don't get something that you can't handle from
Exactly.
life? Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, 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 exactly. And so that doesn't mean that you no longer get that curveball thrown at you, but you are now much better equipped to handle that. It's like Jim Rohn said, don't wish for it to be easier, wish for you to be better, right?
Hmm.
And so it's the getting better process.
Yes. Yeah, and I think it's natural to want to sit on the couch and eat bonbons or a bag of chips.
Right? And sometimes that's okay, but you can't do it all the time.
Ah, yes. Not every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too
Yeah,
bad.
every
All
day.
right. Yeah. No.
And like back to the everyday, what you just said, it's like it's the everyday habits. It's, are you creating habits for growth, or are you creating habits that are just going to keep you the same?
Yeah, and it's very interesting what you say about our subconscious wanting to keep us safe, and that doesn't necessarily translate into fulfilled. That's for sure. I mean, yeah, and so when you work with people in a leadership capacity, what are some of the main issues that you see in others? Are there some obstacles that they experience that stand out?
Yes.
All right.
The top three that I hear day in and day out, and they can look slightly different for each person, but the basis is the same. It's, I don't have enough time to do the things I want to do. I don't have the money to do what I want to do, right? It costs too much. I can't do it. I can't afford it. I can't.
Hmm.
Or um, I'm not like well enough, or I'm not healthy enough, or I'm not young enough, or it's like health. It's like time, money, health. Those are the three things that I find people. It's either a pain point for somebody, or it's what's holding them back.
Okay. Yeah. And I suppose that it varies widely when you work with
Yeah,
people as to which shows up. Yeah.
of course. Yeah, for
Hmm.
sure.
Yes. Then, as far as we were talking a couple of minutes ago about your own intuition and developing that. So, when you bring this to the fore, I'm curious in your daily life how you keep that intuition top of mind. How do you hone that? Do you have a practice to keep
Yeah.
that elevated?
Speaking of habits, yes, I do totally.
Okay.
Um, One, I committed to myself a long time ago that I would always keep that channel, that avenue, that conversation going. And the ways that I do that are just with simple daily habits. So I have a daily meditation practice. I try to get it in first thing when, like, your brain's still fresh, you haven't looked at email or, taken that awful call yet, or argued with your kids to finish their freaking breakfast,
Yes.
However, it doesn't always work that way, but I'm 100% committed to doing it every day. So whether it's first thing in the morning or after school drop off and I've gotten 5 seconds to sit down again, meditation is key because it taps into your subconscious mind, which we talked about.
Yeah.
Number two is I have a gratitude practice every day. And it's not just gratitude. I do what I'm grateful for, what I really, really, really want to create or have or be or do.
Okay.
And then I also do a list of appreciations about myself because I think we're so good at appreciating everything external that we forget to recognize the goodness in ourselves too. So I do that. And then I'm always just open to learning. Like I want to make sure that my brain is flipped to growth mode, right? Versus static, stay the same mode. And so that requires being open to whether it's like maybe a new yoga routine, or there's a new coach or mentor talking about something you never heard about, or reading a new book. I just want to continue to keep the growth mindset going because that's also how I can serve my people better too, by being a better version of me, right?
Yeah.
So those are all ways that I tap into the intuitive side. And I'm just constantly listening and looking for direction, not from outside, but from inside. And it's the quiet voice, not the loud voice. The loud voice says, I want your time. I want your attention. I want your money. Focus on me, 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 me. The voice inside, your intuition, it's the whisper, and it's the one that you have to get quiet to hear. You can't be busy 24/7.
Right. Yes. So stay off your Twitter feeds, guys.
Yeah,
At
exactly.
least 20, I mean, not every minute of
No.
every day.
Yeah.
It's cool to check it once. But
Yeah.
you raised an important point, not first thing in the morning. So what does your morning routine look like?
My morning routine is I set an alarm, but I don't always wake up to the alarm. Sometimes I'm up before it. Sometimes my kids are in my room first thing in the morning. Um, but if it were like an ideal day, I would kind of wake up naturally. I would do, let's say, a 5 to 10 minute meditation followed by just a few minutes of silence just to let it kind of process and seep into the subconscious.
Okay.
I would journal. I would do my gratitude list, like we just talked about. And then I would, my morning ritual always includes my favorite tea, which is jasmine green tea. And it's not always easy to find, but I love it.
All right.
I know a lot of people start their day with like a coffee caffeine, and I don't want to piss anyone off here, but that
You can.
really overstimulates your nervous system first thing in the morning. So it's like instantly you're just in like ragey race mode kind of on the inside, so I find a green tea caffeine is a little bit more sanity welcoming.
All right.
Yeah, and so that's typically my day. I'll try to exercise first thing in the morning because I find I'm not interested once we pass kind of like the 12 o'clock mark.
I gotcha.
Yeah, that's about it. And just keeping space for stuff. Like I try not to touch my phone first thing in the morning. I schedule my social media stuff so that I don't have to sit there and think about it. So for work, social is pre-thought, pre-planned, pre-scheduled, everything from the picture, the editing of the picture, and whatever I want, unless something like hits me and I'm like super inspired to change it up, and then I will. But I try to do things that keep me away from getting sucked into that trap of like reaching for your phone first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Then somebody else is setting your day for you, right?
Right. I mean, Twitter is setting your day.
Yeah, exactly.
or Instagram or Facebook.
Whichever. Yeah.
Your news app, something. Somebody's setting your day for you. This is kind of a theme here. Someone's setting your
Yeah.
day for you. Don't let them set their day for you. Yeah. So so when you work with people, this is something that, I also meditate, and I do it every day. So what do you say to people when you get the time excuse on that? Is I don't have time to do that.
oh, you don't have time not to do it. You
Okay,
don't. Like,
there you go.
I don't think people realize what they're doing to themselves with the whole busy trap. Like, I'm
Mhm.
too busy for I don't have time for that. Well, you're either gonna have the time or you're gonna have to make the time at some point because just like me, disease, something will catch up to you. It'll be the frying pan over the forehead moment. It might not be
Mhm.
that. It might be somebody you love falls ill. Maybe a relationship breaks down. Maybe you get fired from it. Like whatever it is,
Yeah.
something will come into your space, your reality, your life, and force your hand to make the
Mhm.
time. So you either do it willingly or it's going to be done for you. And I feel like, the whole busy trap is a lie that we tell ourselves to stay in the hamster wheel. Because the truth is when you really want to make time for something you do. If there's something important to you, like, I don't know, like the Super Bowl or that show you love or your best friend's birthday or your anniversary, your kid's birthday, whatever it is, you find time. You have a reason to remember it. It goes in your calendar, it gets blocked off space. So why are we not doing that for ourselves, for our mental space? Because you're not showing up as the best version of yourself for you or for anybody that you love if you're in the busy trap. You're just not.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I've felt that for a long time, and the busy trap, it's so pervasive in the modern world,
Yeah.
and it just seems like it's not going away.
Well, because we've been taught incorrectly that it's a virtue to be, oh, I'm so busy, I'm so important, I'm so this, I'm so that. But really, you're not doing anybody any favors by A, being that busy or by B, broadcasting it like it's a virtue of some sort, because it's not.
Yeah, yeah. I have to agree. It's really not a virtue, and people are racing and constantly stressed. And yeah, well, we're here to say it's not necessary
Exactly.
at all.
Let me
Yeah.
teach you a different way.
Yes. Well, let's talk about that. Yeah. Let Lavender teach you a different way. So you how long do you work when someone comes to you as a client, let's say? How long do you typically work with them? What does this process look like?
Yeah. So it basically is, first of all, somebody saying, yes, I'm ready to.
Mhm.
Ready to take that step, ready to, you know, have a mentor, ready to add a layer to my layer cake of life. And then the next step would be there's 8 weeks of pretty intense one-on-one mentorship. And in that 8 weeks, you're learning my system, all of my tips and tricks, all of the speed bumps and hurdles I've gone through throughout my journey to get to where I am right now, so that you can A, do it faster, and B, do it in a way that suits you and your lifestyle. And then around the 8 week mark, and not that I shove you out of the nest, you're always going to have a relationship with me in order to be able to progress. But that's the point at which you're fully equipped to go and create that for yourself in whatever way that looks like for you. Like it's very customized, and that's why it's one on one for those 8 weeks with people, because it's not like one size fits all kind of scenario.
Yeah.
It's tailored to what they're looking for, why they're looking for it, and what they want to create.
Okay. Right. And then when someone's in the 8-week program, is there an approximate time commitment that goes along with that per day, or is that highly individualized as well?
I would say for the best result, like you'll probably it varies so much with people. It depends on what they want, really. Like some people are like, oh, I want to commit 10 hours a week. And some people are like, well, I only have 30 minutes a day and it's on my lunch hour. So it's flexible, and it's the information and my mentorship are there for people, but it's what they want to make of it too, right? It's a two-way
Yeah.
street. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is always an important piece in whatever arena that someone's working with someone
Mhm.
professionally is participatory. This is a
Yeah. Yeah. How bad do
participatory
you want it? You gonna show up?
reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because none of us as a coach or a teacher in any capacity can hand anything to you.
Mm. No, and it's crazy the way that that works, but like that comes back to being a leader in your own life, right? It's like what are the things that you're willing to take responsibility for and not expect someone else to do for you, whether it's finances or as simple as taking care of your health. Like we're seeing now a lot of people handing their health over to like let's say government agencies or like mass media and instead, no, that's your responsibility. You can't hand that over to somebody else. And so when we're ready to actually step into that leadership role and own it, yes, it's scary to do that, but the second you do, guess who has control over the end result? You do now. You're not giving it to someone else.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, and to circle back around to why people are entrepreneurs,
mm,
that's one of the
exactly.
reasons.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're out there and you're not an entrepreneur and you feel like you're a bad employee, like this
Come
isn't
on over to Misfit
resonating,
Island.
yeah, just tune into this show, yeah, and get a hold of Lavender as well, yeah, which we'll talk about. Yes. So now you've got several different highlight or areas like the meditation practice, your gratitude practice, your practice of appreciating yourself, reading. What are you reading right now?
Oh man, if you could see my desk,
All
I've
right.
got The Science of Getting Rich over here.
Okay.
I've got Beautiful Money over here. These are kind of my textbooks that I'm building this masterclass with as well.
Okay.
Money, a Love Story by my darling Kate Northrup. Findependence Day, Financial Independence. I've
Hmm.
got Moolah La, another money one.
All right.
So I use these kind of as texts to build out some of the valuable information in the masterclass, but this is my favorite right now. It's called Witch. It's by Lisa Lister.
Okay.
And it is so cool. It's literally about like witches, but it's very much written to and for and about the women of the modern day world right now. It's very cool.
Oh, I see. Is it nonfiction then?
Yeah, it's nonfiction.
Okay,
Very,
interesting.
very good.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and would you say the author in case listeners are interested?
Yeah, it's
Lisa
Lisa Lister.
Lister. Okay,
Lister, yeah.
Witch. All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, I
So
always
cool.
like to ask what people are reading. Yeah.
Like goosebumps, like every page. It's so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's about the women in the modern world
Yeah.
then. Okay.
And it has a ton to do with our intuition as well, which based on our conversation today, I'm sure you can understand why I'm connecting so much with it.
Yeah, 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 for sure. And yeah, I just think that it's really valuable to listen to your intuition because every single person in the world has it.
Yep.
But yeah, and as we've talked about, we're not trained necessarily to exercise that. So,
No, and I mean, so another way to look at intuition is it's the universe's way, or if you feel so inclined, God's way of speaking to us.
right.
That's how we connect to source, right?
Yeah.
Is through intuition as well.
Yeah, it is. Literally,
Yeah.
it is. It
Yeah.
is
It's
that.
not literally just like your own voice in your head. It's like that's your connection to the universe there.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. So then, we've been talking about intuition. We've been talking about entrepreneurship and leadership and helping people step into a different, more responsible role in their lives. Now, we mentioned at the outset your masterclass that's coming up on April 7th. If you would tell us a little bit more then about that and how people can find information on it.
Yeah, thank you. It's something I'm super excited to launch and to share. It's literally my life's work, the information and the tips and tricks and systems, and just really a turnkey way to create really financial independence and financial independence that's not dependent on your time. And so I teach you the way that I've done that. Very, very simple turnkey, like I said, and build out some of just like I was showing you the books that I use for the course as well. It's part learning and wisdom that I've collected over the years, but it's also part application. And so Yeah, I mean, if you are someone who is feeling stressed out, burnt out, worn out, and you're looking for a different way to do things, to do life that isn't so grind, 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 busy, busy, busy. If you're ready to let go of the busy, then this is definitely for you. If you're somebody who's just feeling uninspired and out of alignment in whatever life path you've chosen, or be it career or anything, then this is totally for you. And if you're somebody, maybe you've got like super successful, awesome business, but you're ready to add an extra layer and to learn a little bit more financial fluidity and flexibility and independence for yourself, then this is for you too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful. And then how would people get a hold of you to find out more information?
Yeah, so I am on Facebook and Instagram as Lavender Morantz, Morantz, and I offer the masterclass on both those platforms too. So it's easy just to kind of click. But the best place is Instagram. The link to join the masterclass is right in my bio on Instagram there too. So
Okay, yes, and that's Instagram Lavender Morantz.
yes,
Yeah, all right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for that. And this is a great way for people to plug into your expertise. And you mentioned a system that you've developed over the years. And in order for them for people to get information, they'll have to contact you, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We won't divulge all the secrets right here on the
right. You got
podcast.
to come and show up to
Yeah,
listen, learn.
yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, well, and Lavender, this I've learned a great deal from you during this show, and thank you so much for joining me. Before we wrap up, I wanted to just give you the floor here. What else would you like to add for people that you feel is important here?
Oh boy, so many things. Where do you start? I think that all of us will come to a place in our lives where we really look at what we're doing and why we're doing it, and maybe reassess if it is aligned with our values or not. And I would just encourage people to have the courage to look
Mm,
and have the courage to change your mind if that's what your intuition says, because just because you're in something, if it's not working for you, doesn't mean you can't pick a new route, right?
right, exactly. Yeah, yeah, you really can. So that's a very powerful phrase. Have the courage to change your mind. Because it does take courage, in
It
fact.
totally does, yeah.
Yeah. And as you've demonstrated, as many people have demonstrated, it's worth it.
Totally worth it, and if we can do it, anybody can do it, right?
Mm. Yes, because you're listening to, well, I mean, at least on the host of this show is a stubborn individual. Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak for you. So,
One of the top qualities of an entrepreneur, yeah, you got to be stubborn. I think the best way it was put was called grit, and it's a combination of like total stubbornness, but also resilience and perseverance too.
okay.
So
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Well, we're a little bit different.
yeah,
But anyone that wishes to experience this difference for themselves would do very well to think about it because it's
strongly
fun.
agree. Yeah, it's so much fun.
So much fun. All right. Well, this is wonderful. So, we just invite everyone to have the courage to change your mind. And if you're curious about Lavender's masterclass or her work in general, it is Lavender Morantz on Instagram and Facebook. And that is where the link is in Lavender's Instagram page. So at Lavender Morantz. So check her out there, Lavender. This has been so wonderful to have you on the show. I've had a great time. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, agreed. Thank you so much. It's been a blast.
It's been a lot of fun. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of Decide to Transform. And be sure you check out Lavender's Instagram at Lavender Morantz. And we will catch you back on here next time. Thanks so much.